so excited.
I wasn't sure when. I thought, I panicked. And I thought it was me.
I got so excited that I hit my mouse so hard that it actually went back.
Well, okay, that's
Okay.
good. As long as there's
Yeah.
no disasters,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Sorry for this. Let's say
No,
that
no,
this was
it's
the
fine.
only hiccup for the last stream.
Right. Well, we're all, hopefully we haven't lost too many people, right?
Yeah.
So there's one more thing, okay? I've lost, where has it gone? Once player's finished, right?
Yeah.
Okay. The game's finished. Game over. Right? We want to basically make sure that we show points. And then, there's a couple of things, right? First of all, we want to basically add kind of like QR codes. One basically to your digital certificate or digital badge. This is something they can share on social media or just basically have it, as a bragging rights. And then another one here basically is, resources to share.
Yeah.
We can share with people things like, access to a builder center to get your free access to, Kiro, access to Kiro, hands-on Kiro workshops, all that kind of stuff that basically, all the good stuff. We also probably want to have on the points, maybe some, I don't know, we need a leaderboard as well, don't we? I think we want the leaderboard to come up afterwards.
I mean, we can say that where they are placed in the leaderboard.
Yeah, probably that's probably what we need here, actually. Maybe like a game over and then how are we going to do
like
this?
you have finished at something place.
Yeah. Points and then leaderboard, a square here that has the leaderboard and basically says arrow where you are so that they can position themselves. And then basically, I mean, we probably want to display, maybe actually put the QR codes here and have a big leaderboard there. Let's do this.
We can give them an option to send this, like if they willingly accept that, like this will be a one-time email, can they just send it to themselves as an email, like everything?
Well, if we do the QR code, right? Let's say, for example, for the digital badge, we can create a very simple system that vends digital badges, right?
Yeah.
And then effectively publishes them as static assets, right? With a
Yeah.
UUID, right? For every person.
Yeah.
Because it's an HTML page on there, we can share this on social media, or maybe do some kind of like, WebSocket type thing to keep access to show the current live leaderboard. They open it, they've got access to the leaderboard. If we publish
Of
this
course, we have
out-
to keep it safe, just in case tries to with the leaderboard.
I mean, it's a leaderboard, right? A name and a number, right? And it's being published out. Not saying it's being modified, but sort of like through a WebSocket or something that the digital badge could then maybe access. And maybe we publish the leaderboards, right? Maybe we actually have a mechanism at the end of every game. We publish leaderboards. They're there. But the idea is that we have QR codes for things that we want people to do. We have a leaderboard displayed that allows people to see where they are on the thing. But I think, and maybe we have some, like some nice graphics as well.
Yeah, I mean, nice graphics. That's like we want to keep it fun. I mean, for the questions part, for the path part, I really want to have. We can just think about different versions of Kiro with different clothing for when it's too hard. The Kiro can turn into more like a red devil kind of thing, so people can know it's like a Scoville metric.
Yeah. I mean, but I think, so kind of like, I think what we can do is we can actually, in here, we can add like special Kiro icons, right? And those Kiro icons are worth lots of points, but they require you to do a bit more work, understand things about Kiro, right? So I guess if you already know Kiro, you've got a good chance of being able to do it. So we can definitely put some of these ghosties, the gaming board. And then again, you can choose to play them or not, right?
Yeah.
But I think that pretty much, in a nutshell, is kind of like how I'm. That's going on. Why is it? Interesting. Don't tell me I've lost the.
No, I don't think so. I think it's.
Yeah. Okay. It's fine. I normally this because I normally use this app on Linux, right?
Okay.
Not on Linux. When I zoom out or zoom in, it captures the whole page.
Yeah, like the Draw.io, like a normal normal
Weird.
drawing thing.
Okay, well, never mind. Let's just zoom back out.
Maybe we can fit in the screen, like 100.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll figure it out.
Okay, no worries.
Let's have a look. Actually, yeah, maybe window maximize. Oh no, that's not what I wanted to do. That's definitely not what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
The window. Where has it gone?
I think it's on the right side, right? Right bottom, minimized.
I don't know. It's weird. It's collect windows, default layout. I've completely lost it. It's disappeared. And I don't know where it's gone. Okay, I'll figure that out. I mean,
in the meantime, you find that maybe we can just kick off the implementation of
yes, I think actually we've stopped
the project.
Yeah, we've stopped. Let's stop me sharing the screen.
Right.
Because we've got everything. We've covered I think what we need, right? So we actually now need to start converting that into something a bit more like that we can work with, right? We can start thinking now about converting that into architectural or architectural ideas, right? And maybe
No, I just brought in my screen. Please carry on. Yeah.
Okay, I've got my thing back up now. So
do you want to take over and wrap up what you were talking about?
Yeah. So let's just go back to this, right?
Let me remove this.
That's right. No worries. That's the problem when you try and get too clever. Sometimes it can backfire.
No, come on. That's a tiny hiccup. That's okay.
Right. Okay. So let's talk about kind of architecture, right? So before we actually start thinking about the components, so we've got the user, right? We've got the user, the player.
Yeah.
And they're going to be interfacing. They've got a laptop. So they're going to be playing the game, right? And the game is going to have, I guess, the kind of the game UI, right? Yes. The screens we've just been talking about. And I guess that's kind of front end, would you say?
Yeah. Exactly.
Feels front endish.
Yeah.
So let's boldly state this is front end. Okay.
Yeah.
But that's kind of like the front end is kind of like more the things that, the interactions, right? But when you look at what the actual thing is going to interact with, it's kind of a whole bunch of components, right?
Yeah.
And I think the main one for me, right, is actually the kind of like I guess the kind of question, the Q&A engine, right? And this is effectively where we're going to manage, I guess, the questions, right? So I guess there's going to be like an admin component that allows you to kind of like manage it, modify it, configure it, add things, export, import, that kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
But we also have different types of question, right? So we've got we've got coding questions, and then we got I guess more just general,
like multiple choice questions.
Multiple choice.
When you say coding questions, do you mean like you sit down and code, or do you mean, for example, they ask you what is the output of this?
So I think I'm saying is that here is a problem, right? How would you write some code to solve it? Right. And the idea is that you can probably sit and think about how you would do that. But the idea is that you would then use Kiro to help you write the code, right? That's just one idea. The other idea might be, here is some code. What is the output when you run it, right? Have you seen those questions on social media, right? You get 4 answers, right? Here's a code snippet, and it says, what is the result? It won't compile, 0, null pointer, whatever, right? So we can do a bunch of those kind of questions, right? But I think that wouldn't be necessarily on code. That will probably be more on let's say, for example, just maybe general questions.
I
So,
think we should have questions about the current conference that we're in and so on. Like,
yeah, so I'd put those under general. So
yeah,
the idea is you have, so these are kind of like the question.
oh, I have a crazy question to you. Are you ready?
Right.
So this we will be preparing for, let's say, like to be a more like polyglot and so on. But sometimes there are conferences only focused on Python. Sometimes these conferences only focus on JavaScript or TypeScript. And so my question is, should we have a mechanism to limit what kind of questions are shown per conference? And that scarily brings me the topic of multi-tenancy. Should we even think about it, or should we just not care? I would
No,
not, I don't want to care.
I don't think we need to. So I think that's easy, right?
Yeah.
Because if we've got a Q&A engine where we're storing questions, one of those questions, so programming language, Python, Java, TypeScript, Rust, etc. So we can add that as part of the data model, right? So that if when we configure programming language for an event, the app for the game, right, when it's running, it will then basically screen all the questions out, right? And we can define here what questions we want, right?
Yeah.
We might want all of them. We might want polyglot. We might want just Python. We might want TypeScript, whatever, right?
So we have to have a create event page kind of thing as well to enter this information, right?
Yeah. So I mean, we don't have to worry about, I guess, that at the moment too much. So basically, so it's all so admin and config. So it's under the config and config. So I think that, but you're right. We have to be able to do that for sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. So when it comes to questions, we've got a category, right? So whether it's code, multiple choice, or general, we've got programming language, we've got difficulty. So easy, moderate, and hard. Right. So that's kind of like becomes like how we define effectively questions. And I think actually writing the questions is going to be, I think, a really interesting challenge. And I'm really interested to see how we can potentially use Amazon Bedrock to help us with that. And maybe, how we can get Nova to kind of start, if we come up with some example questions, how we can then use it to generate some more questions, right? I think that's potentially a very kind of cool use case for that. But obviously making sure that we understand, and validate to make sure the questions are correct, right? Because imagine if we used it and they were wrong.
Should we create maybe later at a later stage, but we can maybe create a simple text form that for people interested, they can drop in their questions and we can review it as well.
Yeah. Okay. So okay, that's a good point. So basically, then maybe as a review, a question review piece.
Yeah. So this way we can also give people, if they want attributes, for example.
Yeah. This question came from such and such. That's really good because I've started doing cryptic crosswords, right?
Yeah.
And I do this on TikTok, and the guy that runs it, he says, "Oh, this cryptic crossword was brought to you by so and so," right? And I love those because it's like the kind of the wisdom of the mobs, right? Or wisdom of the crowds. So so I think that's a really good one. And so basically, we want to allow question submissions